All right, and we're live. So, Ben, we got some really good news yesterday that's now official today.
That's right. We just learned that our research team is we're one of the winners of an anti-racism grant from the Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology. And this is a fantastic endeavor that we are so pleased to be involved with. Our particular project is titled Organizational Anti-Racism Initiatives, Advancing Scholarship and Guiding Practice on Effectiveness, and is being led by the one and only Dr. Enrica Ruggs of the University of Memphis. And you remember when we had her on the podcast? That was a good one, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's one of our top podcasts, and it should be because
Yeah.
Enrica's awesome.
Enrica is fantastic. So it's Enrica Ruggs and then Allison Vania Hall of University of Texas at Arlington, Derek Avery of the University of Houston, and then me and Chris. So this is going to be a fantastic endeavor for a worthwhile cause. We're going to be talking about this more on the podcast. We will certainly be public with a lot of this because we want for the findings of this project to be readily accessible and for people to be doing evidence-based work that can help to end racism at work.
Yeah, so the problem is anytime there's a place to make some money, that's when the numbskulls come out.
That's when the jackwagons come out.
People that aren't like slovenly, like I just mowed my lawn outfit that I'm wearing right now. People that actually look good in a suit will go to organizations and print cash on whatever the buzzword topics. We saw this in the COVID tunists. We talked about in that episode in our podcast.
That's right.
We talk about it in any kind of anti-racism profiteering, which I get it. If you are the head of diversity and inclusion at a company, you got to eat. So you got to get a salary. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that just sat around with a good idea fairy and no clue. And all of a sudden said, I'm a diversity expert.
Right.
Or I've got the diversity curriculum for you. And there's lots of people that go around with very mixed quality. And one of the sad things that comes out of the research is that these interventions that aren't done well can actually calcify somebody
right
against further interventions.
Well, right. Let me be clear. What you're saying there is that some of the attempts that people are making to end organizational racism or to increase inclusion within their organizations can actually be counterproductive. And so we want to provide the social science behind how this can actually work and work well. And so what we're doing in this project is we're collecting evidence. We will be working with the whole research team. We're going to be working together to interview many different people in organizations to see what they're doing. We're also going to be looking at getting some organizational partners who can allow us to collect data from their people around their reactions to different initiatives that are being done to combat racism specifically. And then we're going to generate some useful evidence-based guidelines for people out in organizations so that this can be done in a way that actually works and is not just something that is kind of a guess.
Yeah. So because we have a cancer called racism in this country, right? And when you've got cancer, you don't want to go to some essential oils salesman. No offense to those that love essential oils, but they're not the cure for cancer. Let's be honest. Right. And we need some steps, some efforts, some science to help us actually cure this cancer. And that's basically, Enrica's leading the charge here. We're glad and honored to be part of it. And then we'll be providing some of our expertise in the kind of setting of the workplace. And so, yeah,
that's right. And one part of this effort that we will be spearheading is setting up a website. And I don't want to give out the URL right now because there's nothing there yet, but we will be setting up a website that will provide kind of ongoing updates with regard to what we're doing in the project, ways for people to get involved, and will also be the site that we'll use to start to disseminate some of our findings and to help provide some more evidence for organizational interventions to end organizational racism.
Yeah. So, and how much are we going to charge for this, Ben? this information on the
Oh,
website.
totally free, right?
Totally
Absolutely.
free. Because here's the thing. We want to have a train the trainer. We want to create a special forces of anti-racism that can take evidence-based interventions and ways forward, develop their own kind of programs around them, and go do the work. I mean, this is more than an all-you-can-eat buffet of organizations that need help ending racism. And
That's
this
right.
is definitely our attempt to
Yeah.
hit a home run there. So
Yeah. So, I mean, just to wrap up, again, thank you so much to Enrica Ruggs for spearheading this and allowing us to be on this project with her. It's a fantastic research team. If you know anything about some of these people who are involved, and also thank you to the Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology for sponsoring this work and for motivating a number of researchers like us to get up off our laurels and put together some great proposals for this type of research. So we're very excited about it. One way that you can stay in tune with what we're doing is certainly, of course, by subscribing to the Indigo podcast. So we will be talking about this at various points on the Indigo podcast. Make your way over to indigotogether.com/Indigo podcast or just indigotogether.com and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. We'd love to involve you in what we're doing.
yeah, or go to any app. You guys know how to podcast. If you're watching YouTube, you probably know how to do it. Just search the Indigo podcast and subscribe. That's what you need to do. So go ahead and do that now when we finish here and get off your laurels. Man, I thought we'd get a keister out of you or something.
Off your laurels.
Well, I never.
I never. All right. Don't be a jackwagon out there.